All right, continuing now with Chapter 11, let's take a look at what it means to educate a potential client in a one-on-one setting. Just you and perhaps the owner of the business or whoever the main decision maker is for a company that decides on advertising. Your objective in the educating step is to establish your credibility and expertise, to teach your product's benefit and advantages, and to move prospects to active consideration. So these are the things that you're trying to do in this educating step. You're not necessarily trying to go for the hard sale just yet, because right now you're just trying to get them to learn about your medium, your particular media outlet, and making the case to get them interested that much more. In this step, you're not yet ready to make that specific proposal because, again, you have to get more details from them about what your decision maker's specific problems and needs are, in addition to them learning about you. So in a way, this is really an education step for yourself, in addition to the things that you've already learned about the client through your research before contacting them. Now, in an educating meeting, your major focus must be on connecting with decision makers emotionally, connecting to their elephant, if you will. When selling in person, it's vital to leverage your human advantage and concentrate on connecting with decision makers emotionally and gaining their trust. Yes, you're educating about your particular media outlet or platform or whatever, but many times, depending on what it is you're trying to sell, it could be something that especially if they're new to the world of advertising, it's stuff that could really be going over their heads. So trying to connect with them emotionally is, in most cases, going to be a good first step. So let's talk about 4 different steps in a one-on-one education meeting. This is how you prepare for that encounter. You want to conduct pre-meeting research. Learn about the people that you're going to be meeting with. I would add in here, learn about the company and the industry as much as you can as well. Make sure you plan what types of material you're going to use. This is a great opportunity for you, not necessarily to just drop an entire media kit or a big booklet full of information, but use some one-page brochures, maybe a sales sheet that focuses on a particular item that you have available, maybe a certain advertising package or something like that. Some one-page case studies, the success stories that you can go over with your prospects or your buyers. And as you're looking at those things with the client, and I would look at them with them, have the sheet in front of you and in front of them, talk about the sheet, and then make some marks on these sheets. Use a nice thick pen or a highlighter to emphasize certain points so that they stand out from the sheet, and then leave the sheet with them, leave the pen or a highlighter with them as well, especially if it's got your station logo or your company logo on it. That's a great emphasizer there. Tell a dramatic story that aligns with facts and numbers on the one-pagers. If you don't have a printed out case study, this is a great opportunity to share one of those case studies, or perhaps provide an illustration as to some of the strengths of particular features or talking points that you're sharing with the client. Make those things come to life more than just the information that's on the page. Plan to control the environment as much as you possibly can. Avoid various barriers, things like, sitting from one side of a desk across somebody else and things like that. If you can get close to somebody in a certain proximity, sitting beside them at a table, sitting on a couch, something like that, you want to make sure that you respect someone's personal space bubble. But if you can get close to them enough that it seems that you're much more approachable, that can be very welcoming. And then rehearse mentally before you go. Practice your opening, practice your presentation, your closes. Think about various objections that the client may give you, things that are concerns or points that may lead them away from making a deal with you, and determine how you're going to deal with those things. Now, what is it that you want to accomplish in these one-on-one education meetings? First thing you want to do is you want to establish rapport. Open with a personal compliment. Talk about info you found in your research on them. Say, hey, I saw that you liked the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Boston Red Sox, or maybe that there's a common interest that you found. Maybe you found out that the person won some sort of an award or accolade, and talk about that and compliment them on that. It's also appropriate to talk about positive things that you learned about their company. Find ways to ingratiate yourself to those people that you're talking to. Present new information to enhance your credibility. Tell them something they didn't know that would be helpful to them, especially if you saw a news release about something that their competition is doing. That's a way to show them that you're providing them valuable information and that you're looking out for their interest. Take a look at those things. Maybe if you read something in the news about legislation that would affect their industry, that's something that would be helpful. And then, again, tell case study stories. After you tell the story, ask a question that will elicit more discussion or hopefully bring out certain objections. It can be a question, something as simple as, doesn't that sound fantastic? Or maybe a question like, how would something like that impact your business? Get them to open up and be open to the things that you're talking about as a result of that. It makes them engage with the things that you're saying. Assess the decision maker's personality as you are meeting with them. Make a mental note of their tone of voice, their mannerisms, their body language, pace of talking, their attitude, their overall general demeanor, and read the room, if you will. If there's someone that's very serious and straight-laced, then perhaps you want to keep things formal and a little more to business. But if you see that they have a certain personality aspect to them, try to play to that as much as you possibly can. And then attempt a trial close. You can say something like, so the things we've talked about, would that work for you? In an attempt to get agreement or to bring out objections. This is not something that you want to do like a hard sell on and say, are you ready to sign? But you want to try to get some sort of agreement or some sort of acknowledgement that there's some interest, or maybe that there's some issues that you need to deal with, so that you know the direction that you need to go. Now, speaking of objections, these should not be seen as deterrents or discouragements. Actually, they should be welcome, because it makes it so that you know that they're listening to what it is that you're saying, and that it gives you an opportunity to make your case even stronger. Don't think of them as negatives. Think of them as basically requests for more information. And as you provide that information and you give them assurances on their objections, it's actually going to make the case stronger for them to continue to listen to you and to negotiate with you. Two types of objections. There's the figurative and the literal. Figurative objections are those that don't really represent what a prospect's words seem to indicate. They shouldn't be taken literally. Usually there's some sort of subtext that's going on. There's some other hidden objection or some other thing that they're thinking about. Again, this is that sense where being able to listen to the emotional intelligence that is coming at you and being able to parse that is something that's really, really helpful. And then there are those that are just right out in the open, the literal objections. These are real reasons why they're seriously questioning what you're presenting, and those have to be answered with additional information in order for the sale to move forward. Some appropriate responses to objections. First, probe to understand. Discover exactly what the objection is by asking questions so that you can give a thorough, intelligent answer. One thing that you can do is rephrase what they said so that you do truly understand what is going on. And that shows that you're truly trying to listen to them and hear what it is that they're having to say. You can do that in this next step, restating the objection. You can do it word for word, but again, I would suggest that perhaps you put some different words to it so that you make sure that you're getting the meaning of what they're saying. In the course of this, also compliment them for the things that they're saying. Say things like, "That's a good point," or "I see where you're coming from." And get agreement from them that you truly are comprehending what it is that they are objecting to. And then you want to emphasize, reassure, and support. Empathize with the prospect's objections, acknowledging how they feel. Then reassure them that their objection is not a crazy objection or something that they shouldn't have even brought up. Reassure them. And then in response, make sure that you support the position that you have in a way that hopefully will appeal to what it is their objection is, and that they're able to see things a little more from your point of view. Now, you also want to agree on decision criteria. This is, when we're talking about decision criteria here, we're talking about making sure that you understand from the client what their expected results are from the advertising should they buy. Are they looking for increased sales? Are they looking for more people to walk into their door or hop on their website? What exactly is it that they are looking for? And what's going to be the metric they're going to use to determine whether the advertising is effective? Then finally, summarize and close. Summarize the 3 main points that you have made, and then you want to close. And that means, in this case here, we're not talking about closing a deal, but you want to close on a commitment to consider a specific problem-solving proposal, and then to set up a meeting for a final decision on a formal proposal. And we'll talk more about proposals when we get over into Chapter 12. However, we're not yet finished with Chapter 11. We got one more video for this chapter. So I'll catch you over there, and then we'll wrap things up.